The North Sea is transforming into a massive industrial energy park. By 2050, the goal is to install 70 gigawatts of offshore wind capacity, enough to power millions of European homes. This diagram shows the extreme density of human activity happening out on the water, from data cables and sand extraction on the seafloor, up through shipping lanes, and straight into the massive new wind farms on the surface. Every square kilometer is spoken for. All of this new infrastructure is vital to the economy, and that makes it a prime target for hostile state actors looking to disrupt power grids and communications. In 2022, the sabotage of the Nord Stream pipelines proved exactly how fragile these systems are. Seeing a massive gas leak violently boiling to the surface made it perfectly clear that the sea is no longer a safe, predictable economic zone. The North Sea is now an exposed, high-stakes geopolitical frontline, and defending it requires a massive influx of security investments. But building a massive maritime defense system crashes directly into an older, ongoing crisis: the severe ecological degradation of the North Sea's seabed. For decades, industrial fishing trawlers have dragged heavy nets directly across the seafloor, systematically destroying delicate marine habitats and unraveling local food webs. This map highlights the existing and expanding military exercise zones in the region. The military requires huge, uninterrupted expanses of ocean for live-fire drills and maneuvers. Meanwhile, ecologists are desperate to secure untouched areas to allow nature to recover. When you combine these expanding military zones, the protected nature reserves, the new wind farms, the shipping lanes, and the subsea cable corridors, you hit a hard limit. There is physically no room left to separate these zones on the map. We cannot solve these crises by dividing the water into separate slices. The only way to survive is to merge the ecological and security missions into a single, unified strategy. That strategy starts by identifying combined hotspots, where vital infrastructure and marine life intersect. Offshore transformer platforms are a perfect example. As central hubs, they are heavily protected by a strict 500-meter exclusion zone, banning civilian ships from entering. Below the surface, the subsea cables connecting to these platforms are hardened against sabotage by dumping thousands of tons of heady rocks over them. This creates a surprising ecological advantage. The dumped rocks provide rare, hard substrate for life to grip onto, and the strict security exclusion zone accidentally creates a sanctuary, perfectly safe from destructive bottom trawling nets. Grid operators are now running pilots to seed flat oysters directly onto these security barriers. The oysters biologically anchor the rocks in place, making the cables more secure, while building a vibrant reef ecosystem that attracts crabs and anemones. The exact physical barriers designed to keep saboteurs away from our energy grid naturally act as impenetrable, undisturbed nurseries for marine life. The synergy extends beyond physical barriers. Down in the water column, protecting subsea cables requires advanced acoustic sensors to listen for hostile, unmanned submersibles. Instead of treating that audio strictly as classified military intelligence, researchers realized the exact same sensor data could be utilized by civilian biologists. This is known as the dual-use concept. A single subsea sensor records the ocean's audio. That data stream is then split into two distinct dashboards. The military uses it to isolate the mechanical waveform of a propeller, while ecologists use the exact same feed to track fish migrations and monitor ocean turbidity. By sharing this raw intelligence, the government eliminates the need to design, fund, and maintain two completely redundant underwater monitoring networks. Treating data as a shared national resource turns every new defense installation into a massive acceleration of ecological research. Detecting an anomaly is only half the battle. You still need boats in the water to respond, but the Coast Guard and Navy simply do not have enough ships to patrol every corner of the sea at once. Looking at this satellite radar showing bright clusters of ships and turbines, you can see how fusing ecological and security data builds a complete picture. This layered situational awareness allows command centers to track exactly where risks overlap and deploy assets with precise targeting. In practice, this means dispatching a naval vessel to investigate an illegal environmental discharge, while having that exact same crew simultaneously inspect a suspicious merchant ship loitering over a critical data cable. When agencies pool their situational awareness, a single physical patrol vessel does the work of two, securing the energy grid and protecting the environment in a single pass. Right now, these are promising pilot programs, but looking ahead to the massive build-outs planned between 2030 and 2050, this dual-use approach has to become the mandatory legal standard. Future government tenders for offshore wind farms cannot treat the environment and military defense as afterthoughts. Permits will need to require integrated security features and nature-inclusive designs right from day one, locking them together into a single blueprint. We often assume that building massive human infrastructure inherently destroys nature. But in the hyper-congested reality of the 21st century, fortifying our offshore grid actually provides the physical protection and the sensor data required to let the ocean heal. Ultimately, national security and ecological survival in the North Sea are no longer competing agendas. They are the exact same mission. Right now, these are promising pilot programs, but looking ahead to the massive build-outs planned between 2030 and 2050, this dual-use approach has to become the mandatory legal standard. Future government tenders for offshore wind farms cannot treat the environment and military defense as afterthoughts. Permits will need to require integrated security features and nature-inclusive designs right from day one, locking them together into a single blueprint. We often assume that building massive human infrastructure inherently destroys nature. But in the hyper-congested reality of the 21st century, fortifying our offshore grid actually provides the physical protection and the sensor data required to let the ocean heal. National security and ecological survival are no longer competing agendas. They are the exact same mission.